Hello everyone and welcome to my coloring corner. Today is Work It Wednesday and we are working with the Linda Ravenscroft picture that we started on Saturday. We are still watercoloring it. Yeah. I hope you all enjoyed the mess I made yesterday. That was fun. Yeah, so I made a big old mess yesterday, but it was fun to do. So hello Brooke, hello Amy, hello Ghost, and yes, I did win some wonderful Emily illustrates stickers, illustrators. Hello Dion. Hello everyone. Welcome. And hello everyone out there in Lurker land. I hope you are all having a wonderful day. Dion is the wonderful person that gifted me this book, so I am working in it. Yeah, I won some stickers. So my doll 133 is going to become pretty. I was quite surprised that I actually won. I never win anything. All right, so we're going to be working on this today. I'm going to take my dropper here and I'm going to wet my paints down. See if my dropper will work. So how is everyone today? Happy Hump Day. Hump Day is, of course, the day in the middle of the month the middle of the week, I should say, when we just want to go have a nap. We're on the downward slope, guys, on the downward slope. Just putting a couple of drops into each well. Yeah, I was quite surprised. It was very enjoyable. And of course, she colors beautifully and draws beautifully, so that was always fun to be there for that part of the journey too. All right, so who's ready for this? So I'm going to continue with the watercoloring. I'm going to move everything over here so that I can reach it. Hello, Dawn. Hello, Ashley. You can lurky McGurky all you want, my dear. Hello, boyfriend on the couch. I hope he is enjoying his din-din. All right, so we're going to switch on over to the close-up camera. Actually, we're going to do this one so that you can see both. And we're going to scooch that up so you can see her belly button. Yes, it's watercolor month. So this month, all of this month, we will be working in watercolors, some form of watercolor medium or another. As you can see, Nightbot is letting you all know that we still have memberships available. However, they are available on Patreon instead of on Discord or on YouTube. Hello, Pamela. Aw, thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, hit that thumbs up. Let me know how much you enjoy the streams. So we're going to start by working on the leaves down here. And then we're going to, I still haven't decided what to do with these things on the thorns on her shoulders, but we'll decide on that here in a little bit. But I want to get these leaves done. Actually, no. Let's get the top part done. So we're going to start by working on the trees behind her, the crystal, and her antlers there. So I'm going to tip this back so that you guys can see what I'm doing. And I'll tip it back forward when we're done in that area. I am going to use a regular brush for this part. Move the black and the white out of the way. And we're going to pick up some of the brown here. Of course, it's still really wet. It hasn't really had time to soak in because I forgot to put it in before stream. Wasn't that fun of me? So we might have to give this a few minutes to soak in. We'll just sit here and play with it for a little while. So I'm just waking it up a bit. Ow! Sorry about that, Dawn. I hate it when I do that. It sucks. Cuts on the fingers are never fun. Alright, so I can see it's starting to get a little thick now, so that tells me that we're actually into paint, not just water. So we're going to put some of this down on the palette, like so. Oh yeah, there we go. That's the paint. Now, as you can see, it's a bit of a reddy orange kind of brown. And we don't want it to have that reddy orange look. We want it to have a little bit of a darker look. So I'm going to put this down, and we're going to take one of these smaller brushes that I use for mixing. Wet it down a little bit here. Absolutely. It was fun to watch all the things that you have worked on in the past and that you intend on working on. Like I said, I have a couple of those books, so one of these days, let's just throw that in my lap. So I'm just going to mix in this black, and then we're going to take some more of the brown, because that black is really black. And we're just going to take a little bit of that black and brown and mix it in. I don't know why, but today that looks awfully blue. My black is looking blue. Why is that looking so dark today? Maybe it's because the light's coming in Let's see, what color is that? That's almost the color I want. Let's throw some of this in there. Throw that in there. I've got another one of those. So I'm just mixing a bunch of different colors together to get the brown that I want. Because I want it to be brown but not light brown. I want it to have that reddy dark brown in it. So I'm just slowly moving some of that over into the yellow, creating a bit of a mucky mess, but that's okay. We'll work with it. All right. I'll rinse this off my brush. Did I grab the wrong one maybe? No, that's the neutral tint. Because it looks awfully green. Even on my brush it looks green. It's weird. That is definitely a random song from the 80s, that's for sure. That's better. That's better. Now we're just going to wipe off some of it. And we're going to come in to this deeper area. Now I'm going to put it on fairly thick and then I'm going to move it around with another brush. So don't worry if it is covering up the lines. Once I come through with the other brush, it'll thin it out a little. I don't know if you can be heavy-handed with a paintbrush, but I seem to figure out how to do it. Hello, Diane. Welcome. Absolutely, Amy. Not a problem at all. Lurk away, dear. Okay, so now I'm taking my brush, and this is just a water brush. It's clean water in it. And I'm just going to lift up some of that paint off the edge of the staff here, just to give it that lighter look there. In this area here, I'm going to spread around a little bit. Same with this area. No problem at all. If you go to sleep, you can go to sleep. As long as you can sleep, then I do not mind putting you to sleep, dear. You deserve it. You've had a hard day at work. Alright, so now I'm going to go up here and finish up this area up here. Trying not to go into the crystal, because that will be a different color. Now we're going to move down. Actually, you need one of these brushes. This brush is awesome. Just going to put a little bit more water on there. Awesome, no problem at all. So now I'm just going to come back up. I'm not too concerned about getting too far into the line area. because when I come through with some water, I will cover that a little bit more. And Mr. Choo Choo is coming by to say hello. And then we'll come up the other wood here. At the bottom. So I'm going to tip you up. Sorry, I forgot to tip you up. This one here is one that came with the travel set that Grabby sent me. And it's really cool. I'll show it to you here in just a second. I'll rinse it off and I'll show it to you because it's really, really cool. It's a very, very nice brush. The tip is very, very nice. And it is portable. So I'll rinse this off. Then I'll go over to this one, main camera. So this one unscrews, slips in here, and screws back on. There's a little hole in the end so it can dry the pen, the brush, and there you have it. It's literally less than the size of my hand. And you know how big I am. I've got really tiny, tiny little hands, so. I don't know what it is. It doesn't say, but I think from the looks of it, it is a 6. No, maybe a 5. Because this is a 6, so that's bigger than bigger than this one. So I think this one is a 5 or a 4. Yeah, I think it's a 4. This one is a 1/4. Yeah, so it's about a 1/4 of an inch. But for your office, I think this one would work really well for you. Switch you back over. Switch you back over. There we go. And it came in the Grabby travel set. So it came with some paints, a drawing stick, a sharpener, an eraser. I'll send you a link to it later on. I'll post it on here too for everybody else. But hello, Marilyn. Well, hopefully you're not destroying bristles. Alright, now we're going to take our smaller brush here and we're just going to lighten up a couple of areas and spread that around a bit. Now I'm using the water brush itself just to lift up some of that paint and put a highlight area in there, as well as cover any edges that I've missed. Like so. Yeah, Marilyn does lots of different things with watercolor. She is like the guru, the watercolor guru. Alright, gonna come in through here. So is Ashley though. Ashley's like so good at it. I dabble in it. I play compared to what these people do. All I can do is follow the lines. That's all I do. Ashley's out there making her own things. Now I'm trying not to put my arm in the paint from the previous area and still keep a straight line. Well, as straight as this crooked tree is anyway, which is about as straight as I can keep it. Awesome! See, you're a pro now. Told you you were a pro at it. Just gonna put a little bit more water on here. I know I can put more water on the page, but I can't control it as much when there's more water on it. Yeah, I'm a bit of a control freak if you can't tell. I think that's why I like pencils, because they're a lot easier to control. But that's why I do watercolor once a year, so that I can let go. So I can relinquish the control a little bit. Alright, sorry guys. Did not realize I was off screen again. Okay, I need a smaller brush for those. Alright, so we'll do those later. I need a smaller brush. Ack! I may miss. I'm going to take my water brush and clean that mess up, I hope. Well, it's a good thing I want the sky to be yellow. I am making a big old mess. I'm going to pick that up. I'm going to use a bit of paper towel and just pick it up. Like so. I'll try not to jump when the husband opens the door suddenly. Thank you. Awesome, Brooke. I'm glad you're home, safe and sound. Well, at least safe. So again, as we started on Saturday, I'm still using the Daniel Smith watercolors. With a variety of different brushes. I don't have a particular one that I like the best, but this one works pretty good for the larger areas. Now we're going to rinse that one off. And we're going to go to a finer brush. Hello, Larissa. Welcome, welcome. Now we're going to go into one of the fine brushes here. So we've got a number 2. And we're going to do the branches in the background. Now I'm going to add a little bit more of that dark color to this for those branches in the background there. And hopefully not shake so bad that I end up with extra branches. Yes, I have been painting since Saturday because it is February, which is watercolor month. I will be doing watercolor stuff all month. And hopefully not completely embarrassing any watercolor people. Hello, Emmy. Welcome. All right. So I'm just going to get a little bit of water on here. Pick up a little bit more of that paint. And then we're going to pull that into this branch here. Keeping those back branches a little bit darker. So they still are visible, but the front ones will stand out a little bit more. Then we're going to move down here and fix this one. Again, grab a little bit more of that dark color. And then we're going to come down in here. Like to get as many of these branches done as possible. Then we'll move on to the feathers. There I go, giving it extra branches again. Hello, Alex. Welcome. Well, awesome, Emmy. I hope you join for watercolor month. And I hope you enjoy your watercolors. So as you may have noticed at the bottom of the screen, in the description below the video here, it is Faebruary, and I have linked all of the participants in Faebruary. This is not a Faebruary picture, but it is a fairy, and it is only in honor of Faebruary. We may, if I can find any of the ones that are in February, because I'm not buying anything, because it is no buy for this year, we will do something from at least the artist, if not the picture, if I have it. So I'm going to go through that list and I'm going to see what is there. And if I have it, we may end up doing one of those pictures coming up in the next couple of weeks, if that makes sense. Awesome. The kois are nice. I like the kois. Alex picked up a set of kois when we went to the Merry Artist. All right, so I'm just going to go in back here with that really fine brush and try not to end up with extras. Already did that one. Now I'm thinking about this now, and I, have realized that I probably should have done the background first, and then did the branches. But I did not have that forethought. And hindsight is 2020. There is no artist of the month this month because I'm doing different things for watercolor month, and with watercolor I have to basically determine what book works best with that medium. So if it's watercolor pencils, I'm going to use a different book than I would for liquid water paint. So this month we're not going to have an artist of the month, but we are going to have watercolor stuff. So it's all going to be in different books that will accept watercolor easily and willingly. This is Linda Ravenscroft that we're working in right now. Okay, so there's that part done. Now we're going to move back up to the top here. Now that it's dried up a little bit, I'm going to pick up a little bit more of that paint, and we're going to fill in these ones up here. Making sure not to fill in the little bits I assume are coming off of the headdress that she's wearing. Not quite sure what they are, but we will not color them brown because we want them to stand out a little bit. Same with her antlers there. We're going to add a lot of white to the brown to color the antlers. Tubes are a lot more versatile. You can use them directly from the tube, or you can put a tube in a palette and let it dry. And then when you're ready to use it, you can put water on it and activate it. There are other people here that know a lot more about that stuff than I do, so if anybody wants to chime in, please do, because I don't know very much about it. Definitely not as much as you guys do, so. I just know that with the tubes, you can put them in a palette and let them dry, and then you can reactivate them. And I think with the tubes, some of them are a finer paint, more artistic grade paint. Yeah, if you want to create your own palette, then definitely the tube paint would be the best way to go. That's what this palette is made out of, is my own tube paint. Bob printed me the palette. Awesome. Okay, so I'm just coming down off of this tree here in the back. Now I should have switched back over, but we're almost done with the brown here, so might as well just keep it in this brush here. Although this brush is going to drive me crazy going in little tiny lines. Yeah, the Arteza, from what I've heard, I don't have them myself, but Ashley does, and she really likes them. Okay, so I'm just going to take a little bit more of that black, the black brown there, and we're going to come down. I personally don't have any of them, so. And I love the fact that I do a watercolor month once a year. It's not my medium of choice, and it used to scare me a lot, like a lot. So working with it once a year, it has actually given me more confidence with it. But I still don't know a lot about it. All right, now we're going to rinse off our brush and use our wet brush here, and just going to move some of that, lighten it up a little bit in the lighter areas, and darken it up there. Nice. All right, now we've got all the branches done. We're going to, except for the ones down here at the very bottom, which I think we'll tackle just because we've got the paint on the palette and it's still a bit wet. So we'll tackle those down here. And then we'll add the green to it. There's going to be a lot of brown on this page because of the acorns, the twigs, that sort of thing. So we're going to counter that, hopefully, with a bit of color in the leaves. I could have done the leaves as fall leaves, but I really wanted that green to be in there so that it would work out well. So hubby just printed me a thing. It's so cute. So he printed me a dinosaur. He's a cute little dinosaur. I know. I'm easily amused. The grayscale helps quite a bit. I can do a lot more with grayscale than I can with say, line art, especially with paint. It does give me the direction that I need to go in so that I can better understand what I'm doing. I'm going to do the antlers now. So I've put some white gouache down on the palette, and I'm going to pick some of it up and I'm going to mix it into the brown. Try not to make too light. I'm going to take my thinner brush here. We're going to pick up some of this and move it in there. So this is close to the color I want right here. I want the lighter color down at the bottom and some of the darker color up here at the top. And we're going to come in here. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. At the top of the antler with the darker color. Following the grayscale. I do find that if your paint is a little bit too thin, it doesn't stick to the ink in the drawing, so you have to be a little careful with that. Come down off of here. And up off of this side here as well. Pick up a little bit more paint. Have to name the dinosaur, huh? I didn't ask Bob if he already had a name. Because sometimes the person that creates the print names them. But he's a green dinosaur with gray teeth and dark gray feet and hands. He looks like a little tiny T-Rex. Alright, now we're going to go down here to the lightest area. I'm going to rinse off our brush. Wipe it off a little bit, and then we're going to come down here into that light area where there's more white. And then we're going to blend that in. Like so. Grayson. That's a good name. Alright, again we're going to rinse the brush because we want it darker. So we want some of that white off of there. Pick up some darker color here. Come over to the other antler. Don't mind me if I get quiet, just concentration. Trying to keep my brush from flicking all over the place. Because if I don't concentrate, you know what's going to happen, right? She's just going to end up with an extra horn. There's going to be a sudden flick of the hand, and there's going to be a huge smear somewhere. Well, you get some sleep, dear. If you're tired, Dawn, by all means, go get some sleep, darling. And then we're going to go into the white. Grab a little bit more of that brown. And then we're just going to blend it into that dark. So. Alright. There we have our antlers. Now I'm going to take my water brush and I'm going to smooth it out just a touch. And take a bit of paper, pick up any excess water. Like that. I think I need a bigger piece of paper. Good night, Dawn. Have a great sleep. Alright, I'm just going to dab over top of, but not rub, and pick up any excess water off of there. Alright, so there we have our antlers and our branches done. Now we're going to move on to the rest of the leaves. So I'm going to tip you back up. So we're going to do these leaves and these acorns, and then we'll do the acorns up top there as well. So we need our handy dandy brush and rinse that off. And we're going to pick up the light green. And we're going to put it down on the palette. Put some water on it. Then we're going to come off of here. I'm just going to coat the whole thing with the light green. And then we're going to take the dark green and we're going to blend that in for the darker areas. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. Alright. Just going to grab a little bit more of the paint. Fill that in. Now I want the leaves not to be in that brown tone so that they add that extra little pop of color. Because the page needs it. It doesn't have a lot of color on it. So I'm just going over top of each leaf. I'm not worried about going over top of the lines where they join. I will be coming back through with a darker color and doing the shadow areas. So. All right. Like so. All right, and then we're going to move on to the other side here. And we're going to do the same thing. Now the green back there is the same green that is up here on her headdress, the darker green. So I've got 3 different greens going on in here. A dark green, a medium green, and more of an olivey kind of green. Well, I should say a dark green, a light green, and then an olivey kind of green. And we'll get the greenery done here in that sort of thing, and then we'll go back up and do the crystal. The reason why I'm moving back and forth is because I don't want to stick my hand in something that's wet up at the top there while I'm trying to work on the crystal. And of course I didn't, for some reason I keep on forgetting to grab my air dryer out of the drawer. Because you are smart. S-M-R-T. I haven't done any more of it. The the painting themselves are drying. They're when I checked them this morning, they still felt a little heavy. So I'm not sure if it's because the paper I used is really thick, so it's absorbed some of that moisture and that conditioner from the shaving cream. So I'm just going to let it dry for a couple of days, and then I'm going to try to put it through the printer. But I'm going to actually do a couple of smaller ones and try to actually draw on top of them and see if the food coloring stays put. I might even try to watercolor on top of them, I'm not sure. But it was a lot of fun to do, that's for sure. I enjoyed doing it. It was a messy mess, but it definitely was fun. I think with smaller ones I might actually get some really good sunset type stuff, which is cool. Which I think will look awesome. Let's put a little bit more water down. Fill the brush. And don't mind me if I go all quiet on you. Head is down. I'll take a look at chat here in just a second. Nothing to look at. Everybody's sleeping. That's all right. Just a little bit more. And then we'll switch on over to the fine liner brush and switch on to a darker green for those shadow areas. I think that's it for that. Yes. All right, now we're going to pick up some of that light green and we're going to put it in here. And then we're going to rinse off our brush. Wipe it clean, and then we're going to pick up some of this dark green. And we're going to mix it in. Like so. Making the dark green color that we wanted for that area. I'm going to put that in there, grab my thin brush, and I think I want the number 1 for the leaves. So this is a number 1, and it's a really fine line brush. So I'm just going to fill the brush, and I'm going to roll it as I fill it, getting that fine tip on there. And then we're going to come in here, and we're going to put in our shadow area. I'm going to go all quiet because I'm trying to keep things very thin for these really thin veins in the leaf. Like so. Nice! Oh, that's sorry. I will try to, yeah. That may be something that we work on more with in Tuesdays. I'll be working a little bit more with Celine on the quilling as soon as she's feeling better, because I really want to, do a picture. Alright, so I'm going to go under this leaf, and we're just going to darken most of this in here. I'm going to add a little bit more water to that, just to thin it out a little bit more. Just so it flows a little better in that darker area here. And we're just going to wipe some of it off. Put our tip really fine. And then we're just going to swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. And try to get those veins back in there. Yes, Rumpelstiltskin is definitely more fun. And he is very trollish. And we're going to come down here with the darker. And I hope I didn't miss Celine coming in. Awesome. I like the nice little town stuff. I will end up pulling that one out for a Valentine's Day prompt for the Facebook group, because on Facebook we have a contest going on for Valentine's Day. Color anything romantic or lovey-dovey. Alright, so I'm going to wet down the brush again, and we're going to pick up some more of this paint, and we're going to switch over to the other side, and then I'm going to take my medium tone and mix that in and blend in these harsher lines. And do up these darker areas. The really heavy shadow areas I'm going to do with this green, but then I'm going to take the medium green and I'm going to extend it out and even it out a little bit. So we've got this area here that is going to be darker because it's the underside of a leaf. This area here, it's going to be darker there too. Alright. Of course we accept you into it. We accept everybody. Everybody's welcome in the group. Some people, stay longer than others, but everybody's welcome. Alright. I come down, put in the shadow from the branch here. And then down through here. Put in the shadow from the acorn. And this part of the branch that's hidden down here. There we go. Alright. Now. Uh-oh, Jen's here. Oh no. Everybody watch out. Shh, everybody don't say anything. She won't know. Hello, Jen. No, we weren't talking about you. Seriously, we weren't, but Alright, so I'm going to come through, start adding that medium color. Now I'm not going to put in a lot of it because I'm going to be moving it through with the brush, with the water brush. So this one here we're going to do quite dark in the background. And we're going to do the same thing over here. Got quite a dark area on this one. Now it's going to look a little messy until I go over it, and then I'll smooth out. Okay, now I'm going to take my water brush not with water. I don't think we want to smush with water. Then we're going to blend that in a little. Just moving it around and filling in our extra little areas. Then we're going to take our blotter and just pick up some of that paint, some of that water. Softening those edges out a little. And just blot it up a little bit. Like so. Yeah, that doesn't work so well for watercolors. There we go. Now we're going to do the same thing to the other side. We're going to take our dark, medium tone, and add some water. Now this side here is going to be a little bit brighter, so we're just going to take a little touch of yellow, the yellow brown, and we're just going to put that in there. And come up the edge. Do the shadow areas here. Shadow areas here. We want those shadow areas in there, but we don't want them as dark as the other side. They're working on the railroad again. Then we're going to take our water brush and we're just going to spread it out, dropping down some of that edge and blending it in. Now again, if you find that you have too much water, just give it a little dab. If you dabbed up too much, just go back in with your paint. And just wipe some of that water off. Like so. Okay, now we're going to let that dry, and we're going to move on up to the crystal. So I'm going to tip you again. There we go. And rinse off our brush. And yeah, still want the number 1. All right. So we're going to take this one here, which is a pink red. First of all, I'm going to rinse that off just so that we can get a little touch of this. I'm going to roll our pen or our brush until we get a really fine point. Okay, and then we're going to come up the line. Very, very carefully. Again, pick up some paint, roll it really, really fine. Follow up the line. I still do the shading. The grayscale will show through, but I still do the shading the same as I do with a colored pencil. But with paint, I work from dark to light, unless I want the light to wash it out. Or from light to dark, sorry, unless I want the light to wash it out. Because with paint, with watercolor not so much, but with acrylic paint and oil paint and that sort of thing, you're going to find that the paint itself is a lot more opaque and will overtake your colors a bit. Now I'm going to put some water down on this, and we're going to thin it out, way out. So it's still got that red pink to it, but it's a lot thinner. And then we're just going to come in here like that. like that. Like so. And then I'm going to rinse that off a bit. And then I'm going to take some white. If I can get it to move. It's dried out already. Boy, that dried quick. Put some more water on it. So I'm just loading up my brush with the white. And I'm going to come over here with the red and mix it in. And get a little bit of a pink tone. More white than red. And then we're going to come in. I need more water. Hello, Catherine. Yeah, exactly. You end up sticking out your tongue and going, trying to make sure that you get on the lines, in between the lines, not everywhere but the lines. You know what I mean? Alright. Like that. Now I'm going to rinse this out. And I'm going to use the fine brush because I want to blend it, but I don't want to overtake it. So using the fine brush gives me the ability just to stay in the finer lines in the larger spaces with that color. Now if you do find that you went over a line, just rinse off your brush, put it back through the really dark color, make a very, very thin point on your brush, and then again come through with a really fine line. Like so. Hello, Ronnie. Hello, Crassus. Alright, so I'm just going to thin that down. Again, I just rinsed the brush so that there was no paint on it. And I'm just blending it in to the paint. Mixing those colors and getting that look for the crystal. Alright, so there's our crystal. Now we're going to do the wraps on there. And we're going to take a bit of purple. I think that's purple. Let's see what color is that. Yeah, that's purple. So we're going to take some red purple. So this is more of a violet purple color. I'm going to take some of this white and just tone it down just a touch. Now I think we need a little bit of the regular purple in there, just to make it a little more purpley, a little less red. Then we're going to take just a little bit of it, and then we're going to take our water brush and we're just going to drag it, thinning it right out. Dragging it over. Now I think I want a little bit of this one in there. Yeah, that's better. That's better. I'm going to wipe off my brush and we're just going to pull this over. Like that. Then we're going to come up here. Wipe off the brush. So this is another technique that you can use if you don't want to add more than one color, especially if you're using a grayscale picture, is you can put the color down on one side and just pull. So put the color down on the side that your grayscale is on and just take a water brush and pull it to the other side, which by the time it gets to the other side it's going to be thinner. Alright, so we're going to come down here and we're going to do the same thing. Now this part here, oh, there's a piece of wood there that I missed, so this part here is going to be a little bit darker here, here, and here. So those are our darker areas. So we're going to pull from those areas, leaving some of that purple in those areas, keeping them dark. If we pull too much, we just put a little bit more back in. Same with down here. This part here is going to be much darker. So we're going to put lots of the dark purple in there. Same with down here. Thank you, Emmy. Well, welcome back, and I am glad that you are done work and can partake because Amy, we missed you. I know you've been here the whole time, but at least I didn't put you to sleep. You know, that would have sucked if I put you to sleep while you were still working. Just saying. I think I put Ashley to sleep. She was tired. She's had a long day at work. Alright, so there is our purple on that staff. Now we're going to take, let's do some feathers with the purple. So let's do this one here with the dark purple. Again, make sure that you get a really tight point for fine detail. So I'm just going to come down through all of the dark areas with a little bit of the darker purple on the edges, and then I'm going to drag it out. and we're going to leave the rest of it white. So we're just going to put the purple in the areas that are grayed. And then we'll put teal in some as well. Oh, I'm not on screen, sorry. Well, that's good. I'm glad that I kept you awake. Thank you, Emmy. I appreciate that. All right, so now I'm just going to take my wet brush. Let's see if I have enough water in there. Yeah, there's enough water in it. Didn't look like there was any water in it. There we go. And I keep on wiping it off on my paper towel so that I don't get too much water going, because I don't want to completely wash out the color. I want the color to move, but I don't want to wash it out. So any areas that the color completely washes out of, I will come back and readjust it. And then once this is dry, I'll come back with the white and finish the feathers off. With the white part of the plume there. Alright. Okay, so I think that's, let's see, is there another one? Yes. So we're going to do this one the same way. I'm going to come down the deep area here. Get a little bit more on my brush. Like so. The deeper areas, I'm going to put a little bit darker because they're going to need to be not as washed out. These areas here where there's more of a highlight, it's going to need to be washed out a little bit more. So we try not to put as much on there as we do with the darker areas. Alright, now we're going to take our water brush and we're just going to brush that in. There's some feathers back here and behind the leaf there. There's some feathers back here. Like so. Thank you, Amy. I appreciate that. Alright, I'm just throwing things on the floor, so hopefully I don't need the white anytime soon. Because I just threw it on the floor. So I'm just going to drag this down. Not worried about getting it on the white too much, because we are going to be going over that with actual white, so once it dries. All right. So now, let's pick the white up off the floor. Now we're going to do the acorns, since we have the brown out on the desk. And I'm going to drink some coffee without getting paint in my mouth. Oh, goodness. Needed coffee. Don't know what my husband is looking for, but he is looking for something. What are you looking for, dear?
You said you dropped it. I was going to pick it up.
No, I picked it up already. I dropped it next to me. He was looking for my white paint that I dropped, but I already picked it up. Alright, so we're going to take some brown. He came out here just to find my paint. He is such a sweetie. So we're going to take some of the light brown first. And we're going to do this part of the acorns. And drop some water. And try to roll this time. Make it nice and round. I want a bit of a tip, so I can drag it over. Making that center part a little bit lighter. Alright, now we're going to do this one over here. I'm going to just pull that in. Like so. And we're going to do the same thing here. Make sure that I'm on screen. Alright. Almost done with the lighter areas. And grab a bit of water. And then we'll move into the darker area. And then we'll move on up to the other ones. And we'll finish up all the acorns, and then we'll come back and we'll finish up all the greenery. And then by then, the feathers should be dry, and we'll be able to move on to the white part of the feathers. Okay, so there we have our light acorns there. So we're going to grab some water, and we're going to go into that dark area. roll my brush a little bit here because these are really tiny areas. Just doing the darker area. And we're going to drag that out a bit. If it doesn't drag it out far enough for you, just take your paint when there's still a wet area there and just drag it out yourself. So with this one down here, I'm just going to put the wet down first. And then we're just going to fill that in and let it fill itself in. Keeping that darker area on top. Like so. The paper in this book takes the water really well. It's actually a painting book. So this is for painting and coloring. So it's actually meant to take the water well. So it's actually doing really well. It's barely warping at all, which is awesome. Alright, so we're going to do the same thing here. And we're just going to wet that down first. And let it just float a little bit. And we're just going to pull it in. Like so. Now I've got a touch too much water there, so we're just going to dab it up and fill that in. And hopefully not make a complete mess of it. There, that's better. Same with over here. Just going to fill it in. And then we'll spread it out a bit. This has more light area than the other two down there. This brush is getting really wet for some reason. Charlotte, that's enough. If you need to go outside, go ask Daddy. If you need to go outside, go ask Daddy. Yeah. Okay, my dog is crazy. She just whined at me to go outside. Bob went to let her out, and she just went out the back door. It's like, you can't get off the deck that way, Goofy. Okay, so these ones up here are really tiny, small, dark areas, so I'm just filling those in. Hello, Christina. So again, on this side here as well, since we've got the dark paint on the brush, we're just going to fill in the acorn areas here. And I think that's it for the acorns. Then we're going to move that dark paint over. If it'll move. If it won't, we'll just add a little bit more. There we go. And again here. Alright, now we're going to rinse that off and we're going to pick up the light brown. And we're going to fill in the bottom of the acorn. I think my dog just thinks that I should be done streaming by now. She has dictated it, people. She's decided that I've streamed long enough. It's time to go. Little does she know that she does not dictate my streams. Yay! Can you come give my dog a manicure? I think she might be a little bit scarier than the cats, though. She gets all bitey when you try to do her nails. Alright. Yeah, she just wants to snuggle. Yeah, no she doesn't. She wants me to get her TREATs, which are her medication and vitamins. But it's not that time yet, and she can wait. Plain and simple. She can wait. Is he chatting with the neighbor dog again? Alright, now we're just going to take some of that straight yellow. And we're going to do this mushroom here. And take a little bit of that dark brown and do the edge. Like that. Now we're going to take some of that darker green, this one here, and we're going to mix it in with the green. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to put a drop of water in it. Maybe. Am I out of water? No. Just want a drop. Fine, I'll do it this way. Just going to mix that all up. Get it nice and mixed. And then we're going to pick it up with our small brush here. And we're going to work down here in these little areas down here. And then we're going to do back here. And I'm just putting little squiggles and little bits of paint dots because it's not really defined, but I don't want it to be all one solid color. I want the bottom area to be a little bit darker, like that. And we've already done up there. Alright, so that's all done. Now, well, that's the fun part, is you could make mud, but you could also make something beautiful. Alright, so now we're going to take our white and we're going to put a dollop of white down. Again, I'm not using a huge amount because I don't want to A, waste it, and B, I don't want it to dry out really quickly. And I'm going to grab my number 2 and we're going to dry it off. Yes, you've got this, no problemo. Alright, now we're going to come in and we're just going to put little flicks in the white area. Might need a little bit of water. And we're going to fill that in. Trying to still go in the direction of the feather. So I'm just going to wet this down a little bit more. I'm feeling it's too much like the acrylic and I want it to be more like the watercolor. And then the opposite direction over here. Like so. Then we're going to do the same thing over here. Just drop this really fine. Just trying to get these really fine bits in here. think so. Alright, now we're going to take our teal tone. So we're going to take our dark teal blue. And we're going to take some water. Roll the brush out. And we're going to do the same thing on these ones. And try not to put the brush in the paint. And then once we do the teal ones, we'll let this dry and we'll move on to something else. And then we'll come back and do the white on these ones. Alright. Now I'm just trying to decide. I want to do her hair tie there in this teal, I think. Yeah. So I'm just doing the darkest areas. With the darkest part of the color. This one here I'm going to do a little bit darker, just so it doesn't blend in to her blouse there. And I wasn't on screen, sorry. Yes, if in doubt, glitter it out. That is true. That should be all colorist motifs. Although I know some that are, if in doubt, black it out. But, you know, I prefer the glitter. Alright, now we're going to rinse that off and we're going to take our brush. Rinse that green out of it. And then we're just going to swoosh that around a little bit. Now I have a lot of water on here, which is fine. I can deal with that, but I need to counter it with a little bit more paint. So that when it dries fairly evenly. like that. All right, now, what else do we need to do that I'm going to do with this paint? So we've got her antenna. Oh, let's do her berries here. Nice. You have fun with that mandala llama. Let me know how it works out for you, dear. Alright. So I'm going to take the red color that we have down here that we used for the crystal. And we're just going to put the berries in. And was there any more? Thought there was more than that. Well, I want more than that, so we're going to put a couple over here too. Nice. I don't know if you should be working on the whole bag, but to each their own. So now I'm just going to add some white and a little bit of this darker color. Now this is the purple that we used for the feathers. And we're just going to put in a little bit of dark areas. Try not to take over everything, but if it happens, it happens. Like that. Alright. Now, I'm just going to blend that into that area a little bit more. That's better. Alright, next we're going to take some of this blue and some of this purple and some water. And we're going to do the edges of her spikes here. Same with this side here. Now I'm assuming, oh, that's tree. That's right. That was what I needed to do. I needed to fill in that tree area that I missed. I did see it, and I forgot about it. So I'm going to take some of the brown, and I'm going to grab some of the darker brown so that we can get into this tree here. It's like, I think that, no, that's not. That's tree. Then we're going to Nope, nope. Popcorn. Popcorn good for you. Now I'm just going to take a little bit of this dark color here. I want it to be dark so it's in the background, but I don't want it to overtake everything else. Alright, so we are at 2 hours. So we're going to finish up with the edges here. Again, just taking that dark color and spreading it, lightening it as you spread it. Like so. And that will dry, and that will dry fairly pink. And then we're going to take, what color was it that I was going to use on it? This color here, I think. Yeah, that's a good color. Then we're going to take this very carefully fill that in because this is a much wider brush than I need for this. And this one here. Like so. Alright, so I'm going to switch you over to the main camera here so you can see my mess. I'm going to move my palette. Actually, I'm going to switch you over to the close-up camera and I'm just going to zoom you out so that you can see what's going on here. Because the other side of the palette is such a mess, so we won't play with that. All right. So there we go. And a sec. Sorry for the movement. So there we have the top part of the picture and it goes down into there. And there we have her so far. Thank you, Yana. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's definitely a mess. Aw, thank you, Christine. I appreciate that. Well, she's not quite done yet. I will be continuing her tomorrow for Art Therapy Thursday. I will go through and finish up her wings as well as her tentacle things there and her bits and bobs. And I'm going to be using some sparkle stuff on her wings. So I will be using the Daniel Smith tomorrow to finish it up. And then on Friday, if I don't have anything to do Friday, I will complete her with some background as well as some sparkly stuff. So there she is so far. I will continue working on her and I will finish her up before Saturday. Of course, this is Faebruary, so there are some listings below the video for all of the artists and YouTubers that are participating in Faebruary. Their Etsy shops for all of the artists that are participating. So if you want to join any of those artists, make sure that you purchase your picture from them. There is also some links to the schedules as well as the Facebook group and that sort of thing for the upcoming streams. All right, so that is our painting for today. I hope you have enjoyed it. Hope that you have at least a little bit of more confidence in me than I do. And I hope it's pretty because I'm really trying to make sure it gets there and remains pretty. We will be going through and be adding some glitter gel pen to these areas here. I've already added some to this bracelet and her rings. So we will be continuing the glitter gel pen on the baubles, like her earrings, the strings and that sort of thing. All right, guys, with that, I would like to say thank you all very much for watching. Of course, always remember to like, comment, and subscribe to any YouTube artists that you enjoy. Join me over on Patreon for other membership perks. As you may remember, I did have memberships open on the YouTube and I have canceled those memberships. So if you were a member to the YouTube group, you will notice that I have canceled those. If you want to join me over on Patreon, I will be doing the exact same perks with a few extras in there. So Patreon gives me a lot more wiggle room on things to do. So if you want to come check it out, please feel free to do so. You can get to the Patreon link by typing in !Patreon, and that will take you to the link. All right, guys, with that, always remember to like, comment, and subscribe, as I said before, and always, always remember to relax, color, and stay safe. Until next time, bye-bye for now.